say like you look in the movies and you see a bunch of guys together, they're marching. There was no marching with me. There you don't march. I crawled more than I did walk. It was just something that you never experienced before. You never think you're gonna be in anything like this, you know. I thought, you know, I'm gonna see Jobs just walking in front of me, I'm gonna take a pot shot at him. Well, it wasn't that easy.
I'm Greg Columbus. This is Veterans Chronicles. I'm honored to be joined today by Gus Anastole. He's a U.S. Marine Corps veteran of World War II and the Battle of Iwo Jima. And sir, thank you very much for being with us.
You're welcome.
Where were you born and raised, sir?
San Francisco, California.
And tell us about your family. Tell us about your family.
Okay, well, I was born March 25th. By the way, that's a very good day to be born because that's the day I left Iwo Jima. After being there 30 some odd days. I was born March 25th, 1926 in San Francisco, California. Something else I was supposed to say.
What did your father do?
My father, poor guy, he had a very hard job. He had 5 children to support, and he worked as a butcher, but not a butcher that you see today. He was a butcher. He used to kill the animals, and he had to be very strong to do that. And nowadays, when they do that, they use chains to get the animal up. But not my dad. He did it with his arm all day long. And you know, that's taking a cow or a bull or sheep, something like that. Sheep were easy. And he had a knife and well, did the job.
Wow. When did you join the service?
Well, that's kind of odd. I joined it, but I wasn't in it. I was just a junior in high school. The war was just started. And I joined it, but they kept me on line that I would go. I made sure I wanted to get in the Marine Corps. Oh yeah, you will. So I went to summer school twice in my junior year, then my senior year. So I got out a year out earlier so I could be in the Corps. So I got in the Corps by 43, I think.
Why did you want to be a Marine?
I don't know. Well, all my buddies, none of them wanted to be a Marine. I guess I wanted to be different. One went in the Army, and 2 of them went in the Navy. So I guess I just wanted to be, I don't know why. You'd think you want to go together. But we met a few times, which was nice.
Where did you do your training?
San Diego, California. Mostly then Camp Pendleton, which is a few miles up the road from there.
What area of the service did they train you for? Was it infantry or artillery or?
Well, I don't want to say it was this is crazy, but what they trained me for when I went to war, it wasn't what they trained me for. In other words, they trained me to climb telephone poles to go to Iwo Jima. There wasn't a tree there, and there wasn't a pole there, so this is what they trained me for. But I guess when they did train me, I guess they didn't have Iwo in their mind. You know, it could have been something else, but. So I answered your question now.
Yes, that's exactly right. So yeah, if there's no telephone poles or trees, that doesn't come in too handy. Was Iwo Jima the first place you saw combat?
Yes.
What were you thinking as you prepared to go in?
Well, again, we were prepared, but we didn't know where we were going. Matter of fact, I hit the beach not even knowing where I was.
Really?
Did not tell me nothing.
Wow.
Don't tell me it's going to be an island. Of course, that's all Marines ever did hit was the islands. You know, from Guadalcanal all the way up, it was all islands. So we knew it was going to be an island, but didn't know what.
What division were you in?
4th Marine Division.
So what wave were you in?
Well, again, we didn't know. They didn't tell us. I found out I was in the second wave on the 19th. That's what I was told. Even when you go in, there's nobody there. Hey, it's a wonder we got through.
Sure.
It was
So
terrible.
what was it like as you came ashore?
It's hard to say what it was like. I thought we were dead right there, you know, even before we stepped 3 feet into the island.
It was that
There
intense?
was so much. I mean, they had that thing so set up. They wanted us to go in, and then as soon as we get in, this volcanic soil, sir, you couldn't walk on it. Even the tanks had a hard time getting through this soil. So they had everything figured out for us. So it was real terrible. You couldn't dig. I mean, all you could do is just slush in this stuff. Finally, when you finally got up, you try to follow the guy in front of you, and he's trying to follow the guy in front of him. So it was really, and then of course you got all this fire coming over, so everybody had to stop, and then you didn't know when to start again. There was nobody. The head guy of our platoon, the head guy of our squad, I should say, he must have got killed. We didn't have any command from there, no command at all. So we just kept going and going until finally it was maybe about 8 or 9 hours. I figured I had no watch clock with me or nothing. It was a long, long time before it settled down and no firing. And then I was kind of digging with my hands. I didn't want to move too much. Digging so I can make myself a little hole, a pattern where I could stay in, you know. Try to keep my rump on my head first, of course, and then my rump. Then the next day, everything was a lot better. I got people talking to me, and they tell me, "Do you know where you're at?" I says, "No." Then he told me about Iwo Jima. I never heard of that. By the way, I never heard of that name before.
So you described how the Japanese essentially had laid a trap for you, and then you couldn't get any footing on this ash. So how did you advance?
Crawl. We didn't crawl far. Maybe a city block, if there's a city. Maybe, you know, maybe 500 feet, 600 feet. We crawled. The first day we crawled. Until, like I said to her, I guess we fell asleep or whatever it was. The next thing I knew was daylight. And then there was people walking around me and I standing up. So the guy says to get up. I did. You know where you're at? No, they're asking me all kinds of questions. What had happened is people from behind me passed me up, passed our platoon up. What I started. Now we're just here trying to get through. Just people behind us, maybe they wore different clothes, different shoes, but they passed us up like that. I didn't see this, but this is what was told to me because they said that your command was gone. I said, that's right. I knew because I didn't get no orders from them. It was all mixed up.
We talked to another veteran a little earlier, and he said one of the big differences in the battle is kind of what you just mentioned, is that when the leadership from an American unit was eliminated, the people remaining figured out what to do, but when the Japanese leaders were taken out, their subordinates did not know what to do. Talk about how you and the other Marines figured out what to do when the person you were relying on for command was no longer there.
Well, I could answer that quick. I didn't know what to do, really. I didn't know what to do. They didn't train you to do this. They trained us to go there, put up flagpoles, and for communications. And so luckily, this major came by. He asked me where I'm from, and he wanted to hear 4th Marine Division, 23rd Regiment. That's not what I asked you. That's what he wanted to hear. But I told him San Francisco, California. I mean, what else you gonna ask? Tell the guy. I mean, it was really comical, but you stay here. You're gonna be good. I want you. For some reason, he wanted me. So I stayed off to the side there. And he was on the sand, and he had a little tent where I guess he lived in there or did all his work in that tent. Then he called me, "Hey, you." So everybody looks, and then he pointed at me. So I walked over there. I said, "Yeah." He said, "Right now," he says, "you're in the infantry. And you had training for infantry?" "Oh, yes." I said, we all had training before I can get out of boot camp. And, "Okay, good. I'm going to get you an outfit. You're going to go into that outfit." In other words, I was like a bastard, really a bastard, because that's usually somebody that don't have anybody, just know where you're at. So now I felt a lot better. Now I was 23rd Regiment. So I was in the 23rd, followed them around.
And where did they go?
There's no city already. Where did they go? Well, we went up, it was kind of a hill, little mound, and we waited there for about an hour or two. Told us to keep your head down, and he said, "We'll be right next to you, off to the side, and then when we say advance, then you follow us, you know." I said, "You're going to be close by, because follow us." Well, that's what I did before, but what happened, the guy in front of me died or got killed. I couldn't, so he said, "Don't worry, we'll take care of that, we'll take care of that." So they took care of it.
How intense was the fighting?
Sir?
How intense was the fighting once you joined that unit?
Well, as far as I was concerned, it wasn't tense for me, but it was hearing it and getting shot at. I mean, I lost my hearing aid. My hearing, didn't have a hearing aid then. I lost my hearing. I mean, so much of that, you know. And then I didn't want to really go deaf, because if that guy was yelling for me to come up and walk and run or do whatever, I wanted to hear him. So luckily I didn't lose that. But it was hard. It was just something that you never experienced before. You never think you're going to be in anything like this, you know. I thought, you know, I'm going to see Jobs just walking in front of me, I'm going to take a pot shot at him. Well, it wasn't that easy.
So this battle unfolds over the span of a month.
Say that again?
The battle takes longer than a month, even though some people originally thought it would take a couple of days. So how was morale as the battle dragged on?
The morale?
Yes.
Well, you know, I met a couple, 3 guys, you know, next to me. I guess okay. I mean, a Marine are always got to bitch about something. The food, of course, number one. And that's the first thing you hear about morale is that. Of course, forget about mail call and stuff like that. We never did see that, you know, and didn't expect to anyway, but I figured after it was over with, we'd probably get our mail, which we didn't. 2 months later, I went to Maui, I got it.
Really? Wow. Were you able to see the flag raising?
I saw a couple times. I didn't know, as far as now looking back and listening to the stories I heard yesterday, I've probably seen, they say it was the first, I've probably seen the first one. Yes, you couldn't help seeing that. Yeah, Suribachi. Yeah, we looked up. I saw it. Then I didn't see it or something. Of course, you start moving around. Then a couple of days later or a day later, I saw the flag go up again, and it kind of looked differently. So I did see it, but I don't know which was the original one and which was. Yesterday I saw 2 flags here. One was the first one, they said, and one was the one that Rosenthal took. By the way, he was a San Francisco boy. I just want to
Oh, is that right?
put that out, yes.
Tilt your hat back a little bit so we see your whole face. There you go. So where did your unit, what was your role within the unit as the battle continued?
My role was to follow the guy in front of me, and he followed the guy in front of him, and we got orders from the guy up front, which was Sergeant Medeiros, or whatever his name was. We just followed directions. I mean, we couldn't even send us here or there.
When you think back to the sacrifice that was made at Iwo Jima, now even 75 years later, what do you think about?
75 years later? Well, that's what it was, so that's what it is today.
Right.
The other day.
But when you think about the sacrifice and what the Marines did that day, or that battle, what do you think of?
Well, all I could think about when I read about it after I left. There, I didn't think about nothing.
Well, I know not at the time, but what do you think now?
Now, I think it was screwed up. Really, I mean, it could be helped, a lot of it, because they didn't know this whole thing coming in, and they figured it out, not us. The Japs figured it all out. Wait for us to come in, get bogged up, and I'm not the only one. There was hundreds of us behind me, off to the sides, both sides. It wasn't one gate. It was all, and they knew they can get a couple of thousand guys. And I think they just kept shooting at us, you know. So I think it was all screwed up. And that was, they did that. We didn't, it wasn't our deal. We weren't going to do anything. We had tanks way behind us. I could hear them. They couldn't get up. We were holding up the parade. So think about it. I couldn't tell you. All I can know, it was kind of screwed up. But as time went on, you think more of it, you know. But then, you're only a 17-year-old kid. What the hell do you know? Really, you know how to shoot a gun, a rifle. Excuse me. Not supposed to say gun.
So how, after the first couple of days, you mentioned that you're moved to this new unit. How often are you engaging with the Japanese at that point for the rest of the battle? Is it a constant thing? Is it every day? Is it every...
Well, it is, yes. It was every day. Not all the time. All day. We were very, for some reason or other, we were protecting something, I was told. And sometimes they put you over here, they put a bunch of people, say, on one side, and let the enemy know that something's going to happen on this side. So you're throwing them off, and then we go somewhere else and go around them. And then, so we did something very good, but not knowing that it was good. But we thought it was stupid. But things, you know, I guess they were a lot smarter than we were. We never did get to like this Douglas MacArthur because we thought he's the guy that screwed it all up. So, of course, we were probably wrong, but he had nothing to do with us being slushed. It was the Japanese did that for us. They figured that all out. And I think most of them that died that first day. It's hard to say this. They had to be. Because for the days, all I could see is just dead Marines around me, you know.
Where did you go after Iwo Jima?
Maui.
Back to Hawaii?
Yeah, back to Hawaii. And then, you know, you start thinking of a lot of things then. You talk to people. Everybody had some kind of an idea like I did. Didn't know what they were doing. What they were. It's kind of hard. You know, when you have, say, like you look in the movies and you see a bunch of guys together, they're marching. There was no marching with me. There you don't march. I crawled more than I did walk. First I crawled and then I walked. I never did run. Like I said, I was trained to climb a tree, to lay wire, and then when this major picked me up, well, he put me in the infantry port, if I was infantry. So I never did do anything about wiring. When I got back to Maui, happened to be, sent by the same people that sent me there, and how the wiring experience. What wiring? I says, didn't touch a wire. He says, well, we gave you a telephone. Did you bring that back? No. They gave me a little case, rubber case, and they called out a double E something. That was the name of this. I had that all the time on the ship. It took 62 days to get there, by the way. More foul up there. Well, they said they had a reason why it took so long to get there. They want the ships to go like that so the subs wouldn't catch on to us.
And finally, sir, what do you want younger generations to know about the service and the sacrifice of your generation?
What I want them to know?
Yes.
Well, I don't want them to know what I just told you, because they'll never get in the Marine Corps that way. It was just kind of screwed up, you know. But I'm sure other things weren't the whole thing like that. And I was lucky that I survived, really.
Sure.
But maybe if I knew more, maybe I wouldn't be here right now, but I survived. That's the main thing.
Well, Gus, we thank you very much for taking the time to be with us today, and we thank you very much for your service to our country.
Well, thank you very much. I hope I did got my story across, you know.
Oh, no, it was very good. Thank you, sir.
But one thing,
yes.
if I can add one thing.
Sure.
If I had a son that was going in the service, I would tell him not to get into the Marines. I don't know where this program's going to go from here, but I don't think they like to hear that, but I would tell them. You know, I hear people my age went into, I'm just saying, not that I like the Navy, but I don't. The Navy, they trained them not to kill people. So, and they actually really train you to kill people. So, it's kind of hard to be gung-ho and say, well, be nice, this is nice. Yeah, it's nice, but I wouldn't want anyone in my family to go into something like that. Maybe it was my fault, but I didn't think it was, but things happened, and then when it happened, then it got bad.
Gus, again, thank you very much for sharing your entire story with us.
Well, I appreciate that you had me. Thank you very, very much.
Gus Anastole is a World War II veteran of the U.S. Marine Corps and served at the Battle of Iwo Jima. I'm Greg Columbus. This is Veterans Chronicles.